Hello everyone and welcome back to the Colorado Rockies franchise. If you didn't know, for like the past week and a half, I have been super sick. So if I sound different, that's why. And that is also why you haven't really seen any videos for the past week. I did, however, do a couple of Colorado Rockies live streams on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/yolag if you ever want to hang out. And a number of crazy things have happened. So in the last episode I posted to the channel, we finished this series against the Diamondbacks. And you can see since then, the Rockies have kind of been on a tear. They lost a series to the Giants and then have swept a very good Phillies team and then swept a very good St. Louis team and are now 34-19, which is still 5 games back of the Dodgers. But we are definitely outplaying our rankings. We are currently ranked 15th in the entire MLB on paper, yet we're playing like one of the best teams in baseball. So there's definitely going to be some regression towards the mean. This just cannot keep up. But to start the year, the Rockies are hot, and that is excellent. So let me give you the breakdown of what has happened and the crazy things that I've mentioned. Really, there's only a couple of crazy things that happened. In this Giants series, we just lost 2 of the games, couldn't really get the offense going in the first 2, finally did get the offense going in the last one, but gave up 13 runs and lost anyway. Where the craziness starts to happen is in the sweep against the Phillies and the sweep against St. Louis. In the first game against the Phillies, we win 7-4. Ezekiel Tovar had another excellent outing, and the top part of the lineup played very well. Well, if we look at the pitching, you'll see that Oviedo only went 3 innings. He got injured while facing his first batter in the 4th inning and had to be taken out. It was a non-serious injury. He ended up making his next start with no problems. But that did mean that Hunter Harvey and Henry Fong went a little bit longer. We don't really have a long reliever type in this bullpen currently, and Hunter Harvey ended up with the win, but did allow 3 earned runs. And then you might see down here at the bottom, we gave Ryan Helsley the opportunity for the save. He was only able to get 1 out before he also exited with an injury that is significantly more serious. He has a fractured forearm and he will miss 1 to 2 months. Currently, we've placed him on the 15-day IL and have called up Cody Hoyer to be his replacement. And when I say be his replacement, I don't mean as a closer, just as another reliever. I've made Jose Quijada the actual replacement at closing pitcher. He does have 83 pitching clutch, which is some of the highest on the team, and he's been playing incredibly this season. A sub-1 ERA and a sub-1 whip with a 2.2 FIP, a sub-1 walk per 9, sub-1 home run per 9, and a K per 9 over 7. The dude is just genuinely playing at an elite level. I cannot believe we got him off of the waivers, and he'll be our closer in Ryan Helsley's stead. The craziest thing that happened, though, came in game number 2. You might see there that Sterling Thompson came in and pinch ran for Brendan Rodgers at some point, and then finished out the day at shortstop where Brendan Rodgers has been playing. Brendan Rodgers has broken his shin and will also miss 1 to 2 months. He was not playing particularly well, only batting a .237 with a sub 300 OBP, but it is a bit of a hit to the infield. Brendan Rodgers was a guy we were planning on trading this season, and I still think we can because we have about 2 months until the trade deadline. And to be honest with you, the timing here is pretty good. It gives us a month to 2 months to test out Amador, who has been brought up and will finally be making his MLB debut in the series, and in fact made his MLB debut during that live stream. But essentially, this allows us a 1 to 2 month trial period with Amador. If he's playing very well, then obviously we can trade Brendan Rodgers with no issues, and if he's playing poorly, we can consider going either way. But it has essentially accelerated bringing up Amador, which I am personally okay with. So in the 3rd game against the Phillies, he did make his MLB debut, and he did get his first big league hit, which ended up being a home run. And not only was it a home run, it was a home run to take the lead, and ultimately the Rockies got the victory off of it. This game was insane, and I have some highlights from it. You might see here down at the bottom that AJ Minter has 2 runs against, but no earned runs. Well, the Rockies were up 2-1, and then back-to-back throwing errors from Ezekiel Tovar and Barry Cohen allowed the Phillies to score 2 runs and take the lead. And at this point, offense was so hard to come by for either team, I really figured that we were kind of done and that we would just end up losing this game. But in the very next inning, Alex Verdugo goes yard, ties the game back up. And then the very next batter. All right, Amador still hasn't gotten a hit. Now could be his time. Maybe he blasts another one. No way. No way. No way. No way. Oh my God, it is. It's gone. His first hit. His first home run, and it takes the lead for the Rockies. Adael Amador hits a home run to right, which takes the lead. It's his first big league hit, his first big league home run, and the Rockies run away with the victory. Quijada getting his second save on the season. The crazy thing about this win streak is that every single game was close, except for maybe the 7-3 victory in game number 2. So 4 games sweep over the Phillies, and then we play St. Louis. And St. Louis going into this was playing absolutely disgusting. Let me show you this box score. You've got Mullins over a 300, Donovan a 392, Nootbaar's batting a 272, Gorman a 286, Nolan Arenado a 355, Jordan Walker a 320, Wilson Contreras a 360. I mean, there wasn't a team hotter in baseball. These are the stats of the St. Louis Cardinals, and this is after getting swept by us in 3 games, and their numbers are still this good. They had a slump of a series, and they're still playing out of their mind. They have, count them, 4 guys over a 1,000 OPS, and Wilson Contreras has a 1,200 OPS. Brendan Donovan is still batting a 404, so his average actually went up during the series. Like, I mean, this offense was incredible. Unfortunately, though, Donovan did tear his shoulder in the final game of the series and will miss some time, which is really unfortunate for him because, I mean, he was having a breakout campaign. And then their 2 next best guys are both over a 900 and a near 1,000 OPS. I mean, this team is playing so incredibly well. I don't know how we held them to so few runs. They scored 1 in game 1, 2 in game 2, and 3 in game 3. If there was a 4th game, they were probably getting to 4. I have highlights from game number 1 from the stream. Michael King had a pretty good outing. He struggled a bit to begin with and then really settled in. In fact, I would call it a very good outing. It just looked like it was going to be a problem in the first inning or 2. Cody Hoyer came in, gave us 1 1/3, and then Jalen Beeks comes in and gets us 1 2/3, and also gets the save. Ordinarily, this would be Quijada. We've had so many close games in a row that Quijada was exhausted. We also did a player lot game with who I personally consider to be our top pitching prospect in John Chirac. He went 5 2/3 innings, allowing 4 earned runs with 4 strikeouts. It really wasn't the best outing from him, but the offense exploded in this game, and we ended up winning 14-5. Chirac is up to a 66 overall, and he has that true 94 potential. He's honestly not that far off of being ready for a big league call-up. Probably just the rest of this season and next season. And I think in a trade that we do later this season, we can consider trading away one of these righty prospects that we have. I like the balance of Chirac, so I want to keep him around, although I'm not completely opposed to trading him away. We just have too many righty pitchers at AA and AAA, too many righty prospects in general. Maybe Edmund Ortiz is a guy that we could look to deal, but really I'm looking to bring up Elliot LeBlanc, who is a lefty, and Cristobal Caruso, who is a lefty. And if you guys are interested to hear what trades I am eyeing, I am looking to deal Alex Verdugo this season more than likely. He is playing quite well and is recently red hot with an 800 OPS. I mean, pretty much having a career year. And honestly, we could look to keep him around if we want to, though that 2020 Boston season is insane. I don't know how much you can count 2020 though, is the COVID year, but this is his best season since 2020, especially in terms of his home run and RBI numbers. But in all honesty, he's not that much better than Yanquiel Fernandez. Don't get me wrong, Verdugo is better in pretty much every way. Fernandez does have better power, but he's not so much of a downgrade that I really think it's gonna hurt the team that badly. Plus, I think it's gonna help Fernandez a lot in his development to becoming really a true superstar caliber player. He is 23 now. I believe he has 91 true potential at the moment. When he was at the MLB to start the season, he was only batting a 190, but that was with pretty limited plate appearances as he was not an everyday player. Whereas if we traded Verdugo, he would play every single day. Or we could consider Jordan Beck or Zach Veen. Jordan Beck was also not playing well at the MLB, but his AAA stats since getting sent down are absolutely ridiculous. 343 with a 410 OBP and a 925 OPS. The thing about Jordan Beck, a little bit more of a lefty masher. He, unlike Fernandez, is technically better than Verdugo in at least one way, and that is very specifically against lefties. Other trades I'm looking to make happen. I don't know if I want to trade one of the starting pitchers, but we could. I would love to bring in a really good lefty starter. I think dealing Soroka or Oviedo would be fine. I'd prefer Soroka, but I know Oviedo is obviously quite a bit better. And we could bundle them with a bunch of prospects as well to try to bring in a good lefty. Guys I'd potentially want are like Mackenzie Gore, although I believe that the Nationals are having a very good season this year and likely won't be sellers. They're sitting around 500, so we'll see when we get closer to the deadline what they're actually doing. We could go after Garrett Crochet, although I personally am not as interested in this one because of the 60 stamina. I don't think he would simulate super well because he can't go deep into outings. And if we look at his numbers, he's having a pretty good year this year compared to his normals. But in the simulation in 2024 and 2025, he's been really bad. Okay, really bad as a stretch, but definitely not good. The big splash play I would like to make, though, is somehow getting Tarek Skubal. 29 years old, high potential, 91 overall currently. It's gonna take a ton to get him, although if we get closer to the trade deadline and the Tigers are still terrible, the price will likely drop more and more as they're trying to get some type of return before he becomes a free agent at the end of the year. Because if you look at what they want right now, it's quite a bit, although the price does continue to drop day by day, it seems. Originally, they wanted Nolan Jones and a guy like Chase Dolander, meaning my best player and one of my top prospects. Now they want Ezekiel Tovar, who is currently playing like my best player, but is not on paper, and one of my top prospects. So it does seem like the price is slowly coming down. But anyway, that about does it for the recap. I appreciate your guys' patience. I just got completely dead sick out of nowhere and pretty much entirely lost my voice, and it's still not totally back. But the show must go on. College football comes out in like a week, and I want to start releasing content often again. So I figured to end the month of May, we could do some player lock. We've been doing a lot of full gameplay recently on the channel. Let's get through a number of games, just locking on to individual players. Look at this Orioles team, by the way, 19-33. They're one of the best teams in the league on paper, but have just played awful so far this year. They might be sellers at the deadline, who knows? Satchel Paige on the mound for us today. Don't know what we're gonna do with him, but currently playing pretty well. Henderson hits a 2 RBI home run, and the Rockies find themselves in a 2-0 hole. And I wanted to do the player lock with Amador, and he will be playing shortstop while Brendan Rodgers is out. And that is his original position. We did move him to second base thinking that it was going to be Tovar kind of permanently at short until we found our third baseman of the future. But with Tovar being such a great fielder and third base being the most important fielding spot in the infield, I kind of like sliding Tovar over to that third base side, which opens up short again for Amador. I don't know if this will be the permanent way we have the infield set up. We could always move Nolan Jones, who is a corner infielder, over to third base as well. Oh my goodness. A perfect is Amador's first swing on the channel in the big leagues. And that's out of here. Home run, Adel Amador. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. That was middle, 101.7 off the bat. And with that, we're all knotted up at 2. So a good way to start for Amador on the channel at the big leagues. Again, I apologize if the energy is down. I'm still just pretty sick while recording this. But, you know, it is what it is. We're up 4-2 now. Amador back at the plate with runners in scoring position. If you're curious about Amador's attributes, here they are. Good contact against righties, 61, but then kind of just middle along the rest of the way. Not big time power. Does have 52 clutch, which is okay, I guess. He is a switch hitter, by the way. So far, he hasn't had the best start to an MLB career, but does now have the 2 home runs. This apparently will not update until this game is over. Could be better, could be worse. I'm excited for him, though. I think pretty much regardless of how well he's doing when Rodgers comes back, we'll just keep him at the big leagues and trade Brendan Rodgers away. It's just time for him to get his opportunity. He's good enough. He's going to develop a lot more quickly if he can stay up at the big leagues. So it's just his time. If you didn't notice, I did change the way he looks quite a bit. The original look for him was not even remotely close to how he looks in real life. So I didn't, spend a ton of time with it, but I tried to find a head that I thought looked a little bit more like him, adjusted it slightly, looked up like what he wore when he made his debut with the real life Rockies, and gave him as close to, that type of drip as I could. Like his original player model looked awful. It was so bad. I think this looks much, much better. I did a similar thing with like Hernandez and a couple other people just to make it look a little bit better, a little bit more like the real life counterpart, as I don't even know why we're out in the field on this play. Rosario hits a solo home run, huh? That doesn't happen a lot from Amed Rosario, not a big power guy. 5-2 Rockies in the bottom of the 5th. Runner on first. I can't quite tell who that was. Oh, it was Verdugo, but we're first pitch swinging. It's still going back. It's on like the side of the warning track there, but it does not get down. Oh my goodness, an offensive explosion from the Rockies. 12-2. We're still in the bottom of the 5th. What is happening with this Rockies team? They're just playing so incredibly well during this win streak, and even previous to that. Had a big win streak in April as well, another big one here in May. This team wants the playoffs, is what it seems like to me. That one is lined straight at the third baseman. Oh, that was a meatball as well. 1 for 4 on the night for Amador. It's not the best showing. Tovar hits a 2 RBI single. It is now 14-2 over the Orioles in the bottom of the 7th. Grounder, that'll get through the infield. And Amador with his second hit on the day. Had the home run now with the single, getting more involved in the offense. Want to see that average climb up a little bit more. Here's Samuel Basallo, who is 3 for 3 on the day against his old team. We got him from the Orioles, if you remember, and he might ground into a double play. A diving play by Gunnar Henderson is short, and that is a double play. What a play by the Orioles infield. Too bad you're down by 12. And the Rockies, to absolutely no one's surprise after seeing that scoreline, have taken the victory. So what in the world happened in this game? 14-2 is the final. Luis Arraez only with 1 hit but did walk once. Nolan Jones 3 hits, 2 walks. Tovar 3 hits, 3 RBIs. Cohen with a couple hits. Rosario with 2 hits. Verdugo with 2 more hits. Amador, of course, with the 2 hits and the 1 RBI on the solo shot. Basallo was 3 for 4 with a walk, and Doyle even was 2 for 5. That has now extended the Rockies' win streak to 8 in a row, and this is against some good competition. I know Baltimore is struggling this year, but on paper, they're still one of the best. We'll simulate this middle game, which actually comes against Glenn Otto, a former Rocky from last season, and we win again, 9-8. We'll stop simulating, take a look at how the game went. Looks like it maybe went poorly for Dolander. Only went 4 innings, 4 earned runs, 5 walks to 9 strikeouts. Not a great performance. Had a lot of different guys from the bullpen. And then Jalen Beeks actually blew a save, and Fong came in and got 2 1/3 and gets the dub. Tovar all the way up to batting a .326 with 3 more hits in this game. I mean, what do you even say about the guy at this point? Look at Ezekiel Tovar, man. He is blossoming into a superstar. Plus 2, 3, 3, and then 5 in terms of power and contact. That is ridiculous. Having easily the best year of his career, and it's not close. A 943 OPS with a 327 average, 353 OBP. The way she drew more walks, it's not really his game with the 42 discipline. Batting clutch up to an 80. And of course, he's a great fielder as well. I mean, what's there not to love about Ezekiel Tovar? I'm really struggling with this draft class to find anybody I feel is worthwhile to take at our pick, which is number 12. Honestly, even the highest rated guys in the class don't seem super absurd to me. Josh Foster being the only one I'd be super interested in. The guy that has moved up our board the most, but is the MLB draft rank 36, is Rafael Vazquez, and I just don't see it. I'm sort of metagaming a little bit and assuming that he's gonna have higher potential because of how high he is on our draft board. But man, all he does is hit for power, and I know we need power hitters, but that's quite literally the only thing this guy does well. I mean, he's not a horrendous fielder, I guess, but he's a first baseman. We don't need a first baseman, first of all. And I would love to find a guy with power that can also play various positions. I would consider taking him with our 31st or 38th pick. I think there's a lot more value there. I definitely do not think he is worth the 12th. The guy I'm the most interested to take with number 12 is Big Z, Greg Zibzinski. I'm not overly fond of him either, but he is a lefty starting pitcher, and we don't really have any of those in the farm system outside of Caruso and LeBlanc. So it would be nice to get another one, but he's missing the hits per 9 and strikeouts per 9, so this just feels a lot like another Satchel Paige, and I'm not overly fond of Satchel Paige personally. Not to mention that his pitch control isn't great either. A guy I personally like a lot, but that probably isn't worth the 12th pick either, is Jason Kaiser. He is also a first baseman, but he can play catcher, which isn't really a position of need, but it's a position where we don't really have like a prospect that is a star to superstar type of player, where it feels like everywhere else we kind of do. He's a good fielder with a good arm, and he has good power, better vision. It does look like he is likely going to have somewhat lower potential. Like there's a chance that his potential and his overall are basically the same. Like what if they're both 77? And that's just where he sits his entire career, which is fine, but it's not really what you're looking for in a 12th pick, I would say. I'd love to get a third baseman of the future that is actually, you know, a good fielder, because I do view Rob Kearns, who is one of our top prospects, more as a DH than an actual fielder. He can play third base and he can play left. He's probably never going to play third because his fielding numbers are in the 30s. But this class does not have any good third baseman in it, really. We have recently scouted Roger Callaway, who I don't actually hate entirely. I think he could be a pretty decent pickup later in the draft. I'm sort of changing my draft philosophy this season. In previous seasons, I've really valued potential. In this season, I want to focus a little bit more on starting overall. And let me kind of tell you what I mean. So last season, we drafted Javier Soto. Javier Soto has 99 true potential. Felt like an absolute steal late in the draft, but Javier Soto right now absolutely sucks. He's 55 overall, and he's already 22 years old. So is 99 potential super cool and very nice to have? Absolutely. Am I upset that I drafted Javier Soto? Not really, but the guy's not going to be ready to make an MLB debut until he's like 26 or 27, and then he's only going to have like maybe 3 to 5 more years of development. I just don't think that Soto is ever going to reach that 99 potential because he has such a low starting overall and such a high starting age. Is he probably going to be a serviceable player? Yeah, I think so. Like a mid-80s guy, which is always nice to have on the team, but it's going to be forever until he's ready, and he's never really going to be a 99 overall like that potential would suggest. Plus, he has low durability. Where instead, we could get a guy like Roger Callaway, who is 22, but it looks like is going to have a bit higher of an overall, and he's going to have lower potential, but he's going to be able to contribute much earlier, which is something I don't think I've had enough value in. Not that I think Roger Callaway is the precise example I'd want to use for this, but I think you guys get my point. Ricky Juarez also looks quite promising, but this is a guy that's going to have horrid potential and pretty good overall. Like this guy's probably going to be like a mid 70s overall out of the gate, but his potential is likely going to be lower than his overall is. Sometimes it might just be about taking the best available guy and using him as a trade asset. Steve Dolan is a guy that is probably going to be available at 12, and it looks like he could be a pretty good contact and discipline specialist that isn't a bad fielder and with pretty good speed. Well, if the Rockies can manage to win this one, it'll be 10 straight victories in a row coming against the Phillies and the Cardinals, who were two of the hottest teams in baseball. We're batting a .416 during this series. That's disgusting. This player log game will be with our main man, Brenton Doyle. I know he's a fan favorite. I love him too. I just kind of have a love-hate relationship with him. Currently, I'm in a love stage because he's playing well with the bat and obviously is an elite fielder with elite speed. He's just nice to have on the team, man. You know, you don't have to worry about center field every time he's out there. Speaking of which, here he is. It's Michael King on the mound. We're in the top of the third. No score, as Doyle not going to have a chance to field this one, but gets it back in. Still 0-0, bottom of the third. Runner on second for Doyle, which is actually beneficial for him, as I believe his clutch is slightly higher than his contact. This is a very soft grounder to second. Tough play made, though. I think that's Jackson Holiday. I did change some players' positions around because the CPU seems to have a really hard time when they have two really good players at the same position. Like Holiday was listed as a shortstop, but obviously they have Gunnar, so they had Holiday on the trade block despite him being one of like the top prospects in all of baseball. I'm gonna try to throw this home. Runner takes off. Wow, that's not close from Doyle. Run scores. Now it's all knotted up. I guess I didn't line that up correctly. So now Holiday, I don't believe, is on the trade block anymore because now he's just listed as a second baseman, which is where they would have been playing him more likely anyway. 1-1, bottom 5. Colt Irvin still on the mound for the Birds. Have you guys ever played like rec league sports when you were a kid and they had, you know, the team's hats and you played as that team name for the season? A lot of the time I ended up on the Orioles, so I kind of got like an attachment to them when I was a little kid. I had no idea who they were, but I liked their little bird logo. I liked the color orange, and the rest was history. I have like a soft spot for the Orioles because of that. Doyle's worked the count full while I'm yapping about kind of liking the Orioles a little bit. Ooh, that call could have gone either way, but a walk drawn by Brenton Doyle. Luis Ariz has been pretty good for us. I would have expected a higher average. He's now below 300 again, but he hovers around 300. I was kind of hoping for like a 330 type of hitter, but he strikes out here, so the average will take even another small dip. If he starts batting below like a 280, at that point I don't even think he's worth the contract, and we could look to trade him. Speaking of contracts, Nolan Jones does have 2 more years of arbitration. At what point should I be offering the big man a contract? I think we could get him on a pretty sweet 5-year deal this season that isn't too overly expensive for somebody of his skill set. He's 27 right now, so getting him a 5-year deal would put him to his age 32 season, which is, you know, when we could reevaluate because he'll probably be close to regressing by that point. Sterling Thompson in today got a piece of that one, but flies out to right. Still 1-1, top of the 6th. Michael King has 2 outs. It's Eloy Jimenez at the plate and Doyle out in the field, and that should be a pretty easy play for the center fielder and the 6th. Still no more runs scored, huh? Bottom 7. Doyle 0 for 1 with a walk. Colt Irvin still in the game. Has thrown 73 pitches. Oh, okay. That was a meatball. That was struck pretty well by Brenton Doyle. It's still going back there. Still going back. It's over the wall for Brenton Doyle. Another home run on the season for him. Not a big-time power threat, but he'd make you think he is with a hit like that. 94 off the bat, his 4th home run on the season. We love Brenton Doyle. He takes the lead in a game where it has been hard to get runs. It's Eloy Jimenez at the plate again. Top 9. Ooh, we could end the inning, or the game rather, is what I was trying to say. They are probably going to send the runner here. Can Doyle throw him out? Comes up firing. I don't think so. That's a blown save for Jose Quijada on the mound. This is where we're missing Ryan Helsley. Game's all tied up yet again, and we'll have to head to the bottom of the 9th at the least to get a victory for the Rockies. Looking for our 10th straight. So we are into extra innings. It is 3-2, and to lead off the bottom of the 10th with the ghost runner, we've got Brenton Doyle. Hit a home run his last time up. Oh, I thought he was getting another one. 194 average with runner in scoring position this season. Not great from Mr. Doyle. But hey, I've said it a number of times this year. As long as he's batting, you know, over a 200, we can justify playing him every day. That is a great pitch. Swing and a miss on a nasty 12-6 that broke a lot. That could be GG's, to be honest. And it is. The Rockies' win streak ends at 9. We drop game number 3 to Baltimore. Jackson Holiday wearing number 87. Is that what he wore when he debuted in real life? I don't think it was. Here's the box score for the Rockies. Oh, man. The middle of the lineup could not hit at all. Got 1 from Tovar in his only plate appearance. Oh, don't tell me he got injured. Sterling Thompson ran for Ezekiel Tovar in the 1st. This could be really bad. No way. This is such a devastating injury. Ezekiel Tovar fractures his wrist and will be out for 2 to 3 months. Dude, I actually cannot think of a more devastating injury to this team right now. He goes on the 60-day. Oh, dude, that sucks so bad. He was having such a great year. A true breakout season. Breaks his wrist, and I mean, his year is mostly over. He might come back at the end. Was leading the team in home runs and RBIs. I mean, you name it, he was leading the team. Had the best OPS on the team. Had, oh, Jesus, Amador, you got the highest slugging percentage on the team right now? Okay, my fault. Ezekiel Tovar, you know, with guys that have played a lot, has the best slugging percentage on the team. Had the 3rd best OBP, had the best average. Led the team in home runs, led the team in RBIs. Dude, that is unbelievably brutal. Do we bring up Rob Kearns? I mean, he is the guy with the biggest bat in the minor league system. I worry that his clutch rating isn't that high, and obviously the fact that his fielding sucks so bad. Do we just start Sterling Thompson at third? Oh man, this creates all kinds of problems. It really does. I've mentioned a number of times that Nolan Jones can play third base. I think Nolan Jones becomes the third baseman temporarily while we have that injury. He was originally a corner infielder before he became a corner outfielder, so he can play third. It's one of his secondary positions, and we just have the most depth in the outfield to be able to bring somebody up. You might be wondering, who is it that I'm going to bring up? I'm going to be bringing up Jordan Beck to play in left field. Verdugo will play in right. Doyle, of course, has center lockdown. And Beck, being the weakest fielder of the three, will play in left. Like I mentioned, his MLB stats were bad to start the year, but his AAA stats have been very, very good since getting sent down. So Jordan Beck's going to get his opportunity to be an everyday starter at the big leagues. I think there's an argument to be made as well that we could move Thompson back to the outfield, but I kind of already made that commitment to making him an infielder. It doesn't super make sense to go back on it now that I kind of need him more in the outfield. Let me know what you guys think of that. I think it makes a lot of sense to just keep him as a backup infielder and then have Beck be an everyday starter in left. So here's the lineup against righties. Arise, Rosario, Jones, Cohen, Verdugo, Amador, Beck, Basayo, Doyle. And against lefties, Arise, Rosario, Jones, Cohen, Verdugo, Beck, Goodman, Amador, Doyle. And actually, I'm going to switch that up. Mejia has been out temporarily and Goodman has been in against lefties, and he's been playing fine. But with the loss of such a big bat like Ezekiel Tovar, I need Mejia back in with his high clutch and high contact against lefties. So he is actually going to play instead of Goodman against lefties, and Goodman kind of just becomes a backup at that point. Oh man, that is an absolutely brutal loss to this team. I know you look at these attributes and you're like, well, he's not that great, but he was playing like it. That is for sure. So now what we really need is for Nolan Jones to step back up. I mean, he's only batting at 259 so far this year. He needs to become the best player that he has been. He's consistently been the best player on this team. He has not been playing like it this year. Tovar very much had taken that over, and I think Cohen was like a close second. I need old Nolan Jones back. I need last year's Nolan Jones back in a big way. Well, I guess let's do a player lock with Jordan Beck. It's kind of weird that Jordan Beck is somehow replacing Ezekiel Tovar in the lineup. It'll be weird to have Nolan Jones at third as well, but it is what it is. You kind of just roll with the punches, I guess. Here's the 500 Washington Nationals facing off against what has been a red-hot Rockies team that just lost their best player. Johan Oviedo on the mound. Not the best numbers from him so far this season. Seems like he's a guy that doesn't sim super well. I forgot that this Nationals team has Vladdy. They have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on this team. He's currently beating out Barry Cohen for first baseman all-star votes. So we're out in the field with Jordan Beck. Welcome back to the Rockies, young man. Time to prove your worth. He was batting a 167 before he got sent down. Did I just see that Nolan Jones hit an RBI triple? That's pretty nice. Wow, what a great pitch. Just the circle change perfectly on the corner. Beck got one that was pretty good to hit. A circle change that was way up in the zone. It's still going back. Just in front of the warning track, though. And that's out number one in the second. We're on to the fourth, and it's Will Warren in for the Nationals. So their starter did not go very long. I wonder why. Maybe some type of injury. Clearly it wasn't like a high-scoring inning. It's still 3-2. Beck hit softly, I guess you'd call it, to left. Now number two. Now it is 5-2. Hunter Harvey is in the game. He's thrown 20 pitches already. This one is off the glove of Nolan Jones. Tries to make the play at second. Everyone is safe. So that's where you miss Tovar. Tovar's almost certainly making that play with the glove. I've now got Beck's average all the way down to a 156 with those two missed opportunities. Holden Powell in the seventh for the Nats. Oh, and we're first pitch swinging. And that one is basically to the same spot the first one was. That's out number one. Now we're top 9. This is looking like another loss for the Rockies. Not a good first outing from Beck in his return. Might do another player lock with him. It's not going to be able to get to that one. Gets it back in quickly, though. Well, it's a good thing we were as hot as we were for as long as we were, because there is a chance our season's about to fall apart without Ezekiel Tovar's elite level of play. Let's see if Beck can keep this game alive here in the 9th against Kyle Finnegan. Oh, that was a meatball right down the middle. And Beck is going to be an easy out number 2. So 0 for 4 in his return. And the Rockies drop 2 games in a row. Their first game without Ezekiel Tovar. And it'll be a while until we have him back. I'm truly devastated because mostly just because of how much he was developing from this. Like, he was probably going to earn a potential this year due to all these development upgrades. He was going to be close to, like, you know, an 85, 86 overall when it was all said and done. And now it just all goes to waste. He's going to miss most of the year. Bad outing from the Rockies entirely. Nolan Jones was batting 3rd and got 2 RBIs, though. So, I mean, doing what Tovar would have done. Let's run it back again with Jordan Beck. I feel like we didn't get to see him all that much, really, in that game, or much of what he has to offer. Obviously, he will now be the everyday left fielder. Oh, Nolan Jones going to show off the cannon at 3rd. Gets it to Barry Cohen. Bottom of the 2nd, 0-0. Runner on second base for Jordan Beck. That's a called strike. Okay. Count is full for Jordan Beck. Samuel Basallo on deck. Drawing a walk here would be excellent. I swing at the world's highest fastball. I thought it was going to be a curveball again. He threw so many that at bat. And it did not drop, and I am an idiot. Should have been a walk. Basallo with an RBI single, Doyle with an RBI triple, and the Rockies find themselves up 2-0 here in the 4th. Can we get a hit for Beck, please? That'd be so nice. This is not very well struck to right. No dice this time. Now all the way down to a 139 batting average. Rockies still up 2-0. I believe that is Amador over there on first. Beck swings through the fastball. Did I make the wrong choice, maybe? Should I have brought up Fernandez? Maybe it's just that I can't hit with Beck and he'll sim fine. We'll see. He was playing very well at AAA, so I was hoping that was going to carry. He was in like the mid-3s for average. Counts full again for Jordan Beck. Will I swing at a stupid pitch? Samuel Basallo on deck yet again. I felt like I had to defend. I mean, it's right there. That's a call that could go either way. He just didn't make contact. Top of the 8th, Rockies still up 2-0, so on for a win. It's still Soroka on the mound in the 8th, huh? Very interesting. Normally, he struggles to get past the 5th. Rockies take the victory, though. Another 0 for Jordan Beck. Not a great way to start his return. 0 for 8, I think, through those first 2 games. Not ideal. Here's how everyone else did, though. Nolan Jones, 2 more hits. Getting it back on track a little bit. Our top 2 guys are struggling, though. Rosario and Arise both with 0s. Arise now down to a 289 average. Cohen has also dropped below 300. Here comes the cold spell. We had that super high, and the cold spell from the offense is coming, especially without Tovar. Well, the Rockies win the 3rd game against Washington. You've got Satchel Paige in a complete game shutout. Simulate to the end. We win 2-0 for the 2nd day in a row. Look at that. I just can't believe how well Satchel Paige continues to simulate. Every time I play as him, I get crushed. When we simulate with him, he's insane. He had 12 strikeouts in 8 2/3. What an animal. Jordan Beck did actually get a base hit with me not playing as him, so that seems promising. Had a weird lineup today, man. Tolia in right, Goodman in center. Sterling Thompson was playing at short. Luis Arise at 2nd. We gave a ton of people the day off, it looks like. To get us the rest of the way through this month, let's player lock with a guy that we really need to take over as the main man after Ezekiel Tovar has gone down. That's Barry Cohen. Here is Barry playing very well this season. I'm not complaining at all about these stats. I do wish he was hitting for a little bit more power. He is still at 11 home runs, which is not bad. But Tovar was beating him with 12 and is technically still beating him with 12. His average was also as high as like a 328 at some point. But I mean, I'm really not complaining about how his numbers are. He just is in a tiny bit of a slump, or maybe I guess just coming back down towards his normals. Runners on 1st and 2nd for Barry. Does not have the highest clutch, but obviously has insane power. Did he show it off here? Pretty deep to left, not nearly deep enough. And Rosario does actually hold up at second. That's really unfortunate for Barry Cohen. Guardians up 2-0. Chase Dollander continues to sim poorly. Dollander appears to be the opposite of Page, where he always simulates terribly, but it's very easy to play with him. Well, you know, I shouldn't say he's simulating terribly. Giving up 2 runs is not that big of a deal. Nolan Jones with an RBI single. I feel like Nolan Jones is stepping up in the couple games since losing Tovar. So that's good to see at the very least. Jones goes, of course, on the 3-2 count. Cohen, easy ground out to short, though, ends the inning. Bottom third, 2 runners on for Dollander with nobody out. This is less than ideal, I would say. We'll throw to second, back on the bag at first, double play. Cohen, Amador, Cohen, the future of this team, getting that double play. Oh my goodness. I mean, hit it so hard. Just right into the glove of the first baseman. That's brutal. Now we're in the bottom of the 6th. The runner's on the corners. And Ramirez gets this one to third, but easy play for Nolan Jones onto Rosario. And we're knotted up at 2. So actually not a bad day from Dollander. Did not get through 6, but Rosario hits a solo home run. He's been hitting a lot of homers recently. Not a power guy. Has some of the worst power on the team, as a matter of fact, I want to say. Continues to hit lots of homers. He's probably gaining on a number of people. That is an awful swing. Apparently, I can't get hits with guys with pretty good hitting stats. Swing and a miss on the circle change. Phone goes down again. Cannot get a hit with our best players. Okay, Verdugo, Basayo with RBIs, and now we're up 5-2 in the top of the 8th. So on for a victory here. Can Barry Cohen get involved? I keep seeing Nolan Jones on base, which is awesome. I'm so happy to see that. It means he's drawing walks. It means, you know, he's getting base knocks. Either way, I'm happy to see it from Nolan Jones. His numbers are improving. That was a meatball for Barry Cohen. A slider up in the zone. Does not hit it that far, though. Way too underneath it. Barry Cohen's going to be minimum 0 for 5 today. How about that? And that is exactly how he will finish the game. We win 7-2. Doyle RBI, Arise RBI. Seems like everybody is getting RBIs except for Barry Cohen. In fact, it's only him and Amador that didn't get hits, but at least Amador walked once. Jordan Beck, even with a couple hits, he had 2 walks as well. Love to see that. Nolan Jones only with the 1 hit. He did walk once. He was also hit by a pitch twice. That seems like targeting. Not a bad outing from Dollander, but he gave up 10 hits, which is a lot through 5 innings. It's the final day of May. Let's go ahead and simulate through this game. And it's another day to set scouting assignments. Looks like we won that game against Cleveland. So we ended up going 19-8 in the month of May, which is excellent. And even after the Tovar injury, we have gone on another win streak, 4 straight now. Nolan Jones's numbers are definitely on the rise since going back to the number 3 spot in the batting order. Maybe just being 3rd in the batting order means you're going to play well. I don't know. So Steve Dolan falls down our board a decent bit after 1 week of scouting. He's down to 31st on the Rockies board, 13th on the MLB board. I feel like I still need to learn more about him. I might let him go for 1 more week just to get the full scouting report. Fernando Ibarra is a guy that keeps climbing our draft board. I'm not taking a right-handed pitcher at 12. That just feels stupid. We have so many. Royce White doesn't seem like he would be a bad pick later in the draft. I don't hate his numbers. The pitch control sucks though, so maybe I do. I'm going to scout shortstop Reed Sinecor. He's 18 years old, and while shortstop not really a need, if he can play a bunch of different positions, it looks like he's going to be fast and a decent fielder, although we just know nothing about him currently. Let's get him scouted up. And the final game against Cleveland is a 1-4 loss for Johan Oviedo. Jordan Beck continues to struggle. We'll keep an eye on that, of course, and bring up Yanquiel Fernandez if we feel like that would be better. Samuel Basayo continues to just kind of be mid to bad, honestly, as the catcher this season, only batting a .212. One thing we could consider, Basayo is only 21. He's quite young. We could send him back down to the minor leagues. He has 1 more minor league option. The Rockies are now 40-22 on the season, still 6 games back of the Dodgers. We just can't gain on them despite how well we're playing. Like 40-22 is incredible at this point in the season. Dodgers are still 6 games ahead of even that. And where we were 19-8 in the month of May, the Dodgers were 20-7. So they actually took a game away from us. I don't think there's any winning this division, man. Also, weird thing I noticed about this Rockies team, look at how bad we are during the day and how much better we are at night. We are 13-14 at day games. So we're under 500 for day games and 27-8 for night games. Pretty crazy. But anyway, that's going to do it for this episode. It might be a little bit of a shorter one once I edit it down. I apologize for that. Still feeling a little under the weather, like I said. Hopefully it was a pretty good one. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, I appreciate the continued support, and I will see you guys in the next one.